I'm going to just say a few things, and I'm going to turn it over to Dan. One of the main reasons we're having it when we're having it is right before the holidays, we did have an incident at one of our high schools. When I say incident, that puts a little too much on it. But I've told the safety and I've told everybody that we get audited by TEA with our doors. So what that looks like is once a month, TEA comes to a campus. And they've been doing this this is the third year they've been doing it. And when they come to a campus, the first thing they try to do is get in one of the outside doors. And they try 3. And if they can't get in one of the doors, at that point they go in and they kind of inspect your check-in, check-out procedures in the office. By this point, they tell you who they are. And they tell you, hey, we're from TEA, we came to audit you. And once they sign in, then they go and they meet a principal or an assistant principal. And at that point, they take them all around the campus. And like I said, we're in our 3rd year of doing this, and this is the first year. They did not get in one of the outside doors, and I'm going to let Mr. Gensler clean up anything I say that's not right. They checked in, and it was when they were walking around with our principal, accurate? Right. They were able to, they check all the doors, so they've tried to get in 3, they couldn't get in, they've checked in, and now they're walking around. When they're with the principal, and Hannah, you've been a part of this, they just kind of, Jasmine's done it, they just kind of let you take them around, and sometimes they ask to go certain places. And as they were walking around with Gensler, I guess they were back outside on the perimeter, and they were able to get in one of our doors. And through Gensler's research, what he figured out was that, and y'all all done it, I've done it, but one of those doors, we had an employee that had his hands full, and instead of slamming the door, was kind of easing the door in. Is that kind of accurate?
Yes, sir.
And when he did it so softly the door didn't latch. Okay? And so it was a door, I believe it leads to a book room.
Yeah.
But through the book room it leads to a hallway. And anytime it leads to kids, that's a problem. I was told, by TEA that congrats, y'all made it 3 years. Y'all one of the few schools that has made it 3 years without that happening, but it still makes me mad. I'm going to use correct language here. And it made Gensler mad, and we addressed it. The employee meant no malicious intent, but at the same time, I kind of think it was good that it happened because it resets our memories of, man, you have to check those doors and make sure they are locked. Our SROs still do a good job. They do the door sweeps. It was just a mistake. And it was a mistake that led to us being told not to make a mistake, but what we don't ever want is that mistake that leads to us being on the news for tragedy that happens. And so what have we done since then? Gensler within days had a complete meeting with his entire staff on his campus. We don't call that employee out. He had a conversation, and if you've ever had a conversation with Gensler, you know when you're in trouble. He had a conversation with the employee. Then he had a meeting with the entire staff. We're kind of letting the safety committee know about it today. We'll talk about it tomorrow night at the board meeting. Ms. Gonzalez and I have already visited about it. And we just want to get it fixed. And we think it's important that we talk about it here because I think that we take for granted. I say it all the time. Every single time something happens on a school and they're on the news, the superintendent or the lead SRO or the chief of police, and y'all all seen it, they get on and they say, we never thought it would happen here. And we try to live, and I try to preach. I don't ever want to be that guy that's saying we never. I don't also think it will ever happen here, but I don't want it to ever happen here. And, that's why we take these things very seriously. So I'm going to open it up to questions on what happened and how we've handled it, and you may have to answer some because you were there. But what questions do y'all have about that specific incident? I feel like we've remedied. I can't talk to you.
Remedy.
I have an atomic fireball in my mouth. That's what that is. It is not tobacco. I feel like we have remedied the situation, but I still would like to be open to answer any questions.
Was that door, was it had to be adjusted? Or?
Yeah, Albert's crew adjusted that.
Yeah, and you want to talk about it too, Albert, because his crew's come in and fixed a lot of our doors.
It was door 8. It was too tight. So basically what it would do to shut it, it slow down automatically. And sometimes it would lock, sometimes it wouldn't. And that electric lock would activate sometimes and sometimes it wouldn't. So what we did is we loosened it up where it'll automatically slam pretty hard.
Good.
So somebody that can walk it in, it's still gonna,
It's still gonna lock, and
Still gonna lock.
that door's not even in use. It's
Yeah, it's only by him. Kids don't go in and out. I mean, that's it leads to students, but not directly. You'd have to go through another door to get to students, but it still leads to students, and so it still counts. And I mean, we want to be good anyway. You know, Gansler, you got anything to say about it?
I mean, it was only used by one person in the school. Only one person used that one particular door, and that person's not using that door anymore. And so, you know, just make sure that whatever door they use, that it closes. But everybody needs to make sure that every door closes.
And we had all campuses. He met with his immediately, but when we came back from Christmas, that was one of the things we had all of our principals remind our staff, because we do. I've had to answer questions over the last 2 years about, well, I wanted to let my friend in the back door. We talk about it, we preach it, but then we always think, well, there's this time it doesn't matter, or this is my friend, or and it matters every single time. And so, even though I'm not happy it happened, I'm also kind of happy that it regenerated our memories to remind ourselves it's important that we make sure we get those doors closed. You got anything else you want to add to that? And I'll let you kind of take it from here, because I know you have some other things to talk about.
Yeah, just a couple of things. And most of y'all have gotten a copy of the agenda, correct? I kind of attached it with everything. Just to kind of go over, we use a deal called Sentinel, which that tells us what we've done, and this is what we see on our end. We had a corrective action, and it was at the high school. And on the other side of it, it kind of tells us, it suggests what we have to do in order to do that corrective action. And one of those corrective actions is to have this meeting to let you aware of the situation and what we've done as a district in order to fix that situation. So the thing that I just passed around was a plan. It's called the Plan of Action, and this is what we've developed. And this is what we've typically done already, but we just never really had it on paper. So this is something that we're going to make sure to ensure that this doesn't happen again as far as our door checks go. So this was a requirement that we had to create, we had to generate, and that we would put on the site and stuff. So this is one of the deals that we had to do. So feel free to look over. If you have any questions, comments, or concerns, please feel free to ask. The other thing that we're required to do is Mr. Ginsler was required to have a mandatory staff meeting live to kind of go over. And Mr. Ginsler used this plan of action that you have in front of you to kind of dictate how that meeting went, as far as how he generated his PowerPoint, how to coach his teachers and stuff, as far as how to enter the doors, how to exit doors appropriately, how to report if you have any kind of malfunctioning equipment, to report it immediately. That's kind of what's outlined in this document. Is basically what Mr. Ginsler went over with his staff on that day. The other thing that we have to do is we have to make sure that we address this at our next board meeting. Mr. Ritchie already has that posted on our board agenda to be discussed at the board, and those are the qualifications. The other thing that we need to have is make sure we have recorded minutes of this meeting. Should they have to ask that we've done this meeting, we have that, so we can have that posted on the site. So those are the things that we've needed to do to remedy the situation. So after this meeting and after tomorrow, I'll gather all this information and I will upload it to Sentinel. We'll send it off as one PDF document, and then they will get back to us and they'll let us know if we are in compliance or if we need further information. And once I get that confirmation, then of course Mr. Ritchie will let the appropriate people know.
And I remember looking over his shoulder. I was at a conference one time, and I was looking over the shoulder of somebody from another school district that had there's a dashboard that we've been at for 3 years. It tells you how many of your campuses in the district and what your percentage is at. We've been at 100% forever. I just thought everybody's at 100%. I was looking over this guy's shoulder, and theirs said 36%. So I know we're still good, but I want to stay at 100%. So after we get this done, principals, APs, we're getting back to 100%.
And the only other thing that we're going to cover today, other than that, is we started rolling out OpenGate on each of the campuses.
Which we're going to let all the campuses kind of talk about.
And we're going to let the campuses kind of go over how that's been going for the campus, and what we've had to do and adjust and all that stuff. So I don't know who wants to go first.
And before they talk, having watched all of them from the beginning to now, It's all gotten way smoother on all campuses, and every campus has had to do different things to make it smooth. But you're the freshest, Gensler. This week, y'all have gone from chaos to literally like walking in the airport. So if you want to talk about what y'all have done and how it's gone first.
So our first day to do it was Monday, and it was a little bit, I don't know if I describe it as chaos.
Just long. Just long.
It got a little backed up, you know. But then the second day, like when we met afterwards, and we kind of streamlined it and made it a little quicker, and it was really smooth yesterday. We didn't do it today because it was late start Wednesday. We can't not do it every Wednesday though, because then they'll know that we're going to have to do it on Wednesday. But it's such a big window, like 7:30 to 9 for kids coming in. But we're going to have to do it on Wednesdays. But we didn't do it today, but we will tomorrow. Be the third day, so hopefully it even goes smoother than it did yesterday. But it was a huge transition just one day, just from Monday to Tuesday.
The first day they wrapped up right before 8:20. The second day they wrapped up by 8:06. That's how much it sped up. And when the company came to us, they told us, they said, most of our schools don't do it every day. They said they do it just enough that the kids never know that it's not going to be done. We are going to yield more towards the everyday. But as long as we do it enough, and I was telling Rebecca on Monday, the biggest thing for me is just that when they're seen, we immediately on day one over there, we're not doing it to catch vapes. We're doing it to catch mass casualty weapons. But I can assure you, we've already eliminated a lot of vapes. Because if it beeps, the backpack's getting searched. And they know that. And so I can assure you that while we're trying to catch this, it's also helping in some of those peripheral ways that are going to help our kids be more successful. Agreed with that?
Yes, sir. I know Joe, our SRO, said, we had those like vape sensors or whatever in the bathroom. But like Monday and Tuesday was not going off at all. So
That tells me that's a good thing.
Exactly.
What do y'all do when they go off?
We go
Do
look.
y'all have sensor? I mean, if it.
Yeah, we run to the bathroom and go see. Before the Christmas break, I ran into one and it looked like there was like a whole cloud in there. It was just sitting in the bathroom. And so
at that point, if there's someone in there, they handle it. If not, they go back and check video.
yeah,
The last person's out, and then they question them.
Yeah.
That particular incident, we went and checked the camera. We got those two kids, and then they ratted each other out, and it was easy.
Jasper?
Ours has, the first day is always crazy because the kids don't know what to expect, and our kids were afraid of it. It seemed like when they walked through it, they wanted to go really slow through it.
There are some that will go so slow.
But they do say they feel safe, but we re-collaborated multiple times to have like a better system, what was going to flow better. And then we had to adjust too because our athletics program, they meet in the morning, so how are we going to get them doing the same thing? And so like today we tried something and we did it in the gym and it worked beautiful. I mean, it was 7 to 8 minutes, we had everybody in athletics through the metal detector and in the cafeteria.
They did something pretty cool that I had not seen any of the other campuses do. One, they have to be 32 to 36 inches apart to work. So they've attached a string to one of them that they can hold up and constantly measure. But the other thing they did, they put it on, y'all have all been in PE or had kids in PE, when you scoot on those little, they're both on those. So they can just easily move them to wherever they want. They're light anyway, but that I thought was a very efficient way to move them.
I was like, I know we have those rolly things somewhere, and so I went and found them, and it needed a tire, and I was like, Juan, will you fix my tire? And he was like, what are you up to? I said, don't, I'll show you when I'm done, if it works. If it doesn't work, I'm not going to show you. But the grips on the bottom stay on there so they don't move around or anything, and you can actually roll them wherever you need to go, because they're heavy if you move them.
They're not heavy.
They're for us, no, you're trying to carry two in a rush, it's heavy.
They're not.
Because that's
They're
what.
not.
They're the lightest things ever.
So you can carry two.
I can carry 5 of them.
Oh, okay. Well, for me, they were heavy carrying too, y'all, and they're way bigger than me. They're taller, so people need help.
All right, Hannah.
It's going really good at North. Our kids know exactly what to do. The things that we've been catching are like that make it go off that now the kids know to just take it out and hand it to Mr.
Like the glasses
Brown.
cases that
Glasses
first day.
cases, they're Altoids boxes, they're pencil cases that are metal. And we've only had one giant Stanley set it off like a gallon size, not regular size. And then 3-ring binders because we do have a few of those. And they just hand it to us, and so it goes extremely smooth. Our ACE kids that are in the morning, they know to come through and then go straight to class. Christy and I usually start opening the doors around 7:20 because it's been so cold and the buses have already dropped kids off and they're just waiting outside. So we get those kids through really quick into the cafeteria to wait for the bell, and then it's good.
Perfect. Every campus is different, but they've all acclimated to it very quickly. South is different. We made a decision at the very end, and I'm not going to lie, it was my decision to not walk our pre-K through second graders through it. Everything I do, I try to put myself in my own kids' views, and I just don't know that that's what I want my kids that are just starting school. I don't know that that's what I want their memory of school to be. But we do have all visitors walking through it. So, Sarah, do you want to talk about that?
We set ours up right between 8:15 and 8:30, right after kids have been dropped off. Majority of the late shows are already there. We set them up so when parents, it's set up in front of our door that unlocks when they ring the doorbell. So it forces them to go through there. And we have not had a lot of issues. We have had it go off a couple of times for some things. Most of it is they've just got something in their purse or in their pocket, pocket knife. But it is we've had some trouble too. It's not going off either. We had a parent that said, "These aren't working." What do you mean? Well, I've got a knife on the sleeve of my pants and it didn't set it off. So I know, Richie, you had come over that after and we were trying any and everything. So I think we got it figured out. And if you do set them too far apart, it will go off every time. When the door opened, it went off earlier. It was going off for everything, so we adjusted. But it's been good. Our parents have been really great about it. They had something that set it off. We just asked, do you have anything maybe in your purse or in your pocket, like any kind of a knife or anything like that? And they're like, "Oh, I may have." "Well, do you mind putting it back in the car?" They're more than happy to go do it. They put it up, they come back in, and they're cleared. So, our parents have been really, really good about it and appreciative.
And the goal is to get where we're comfortable enough, and I keep referencing my conversation with Rebecca, but I've told her I would like to break them out for basketball games. I would like to break them out for graduation. Next year, I think we'll be good enough to use them for football games. Anytime we're going places where there's a lot of people. It's going to be different when they're using them for visitors because our kids are going to be used to them, so our parents are going to kind of be used to them, but the visiting teams are not, and so it will be a little slow. But again, I think just the sight of them makes people go turn around and put whatever they have back in their car. And do you agree with that, Chief? So I think they're a good thing. I think we've gotten used to them pretty quickly. But if y'all have any questions for any of the campuses, please quiz them.
Can I ask a question?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, so earlier you said you want us to lean more towards doing it every day, correct?
Right now.
Okay.
Yes.
With that, the charging port that we were given, one of them already doesn't work.
Okay.
Are we able to order more? Does it need to come
We
out
just
of our
figured that out.
budget?
We just need to bring that up when we're here and talk about how to, because I got no idea how much they are since they're so new. We just need to figure that out. For
I mean,
sure.
I'm sure if they didn't work, they would.
You
Yeah.
probably need to let us know and we can
Well,
contact the company.
So I had messaged Albert. He told me to message Sellers, and I did. So he's aware, and he can.
Yeah, Sellers is the one that kind of has the contact with the
Yes.
company. So
I know he was going to, but Ms. Griffin wanted me to ask if we were able to order more so we could charge all four every night.
Let's just see how much it costs. See
Okay.
what we can do.
Because they said we could even buy some from like Lowe's or something like
Yeah,
that.
we don't have to buy them from the company.
It doesn't have to be,
We were
cheap.
looking at Amazon where we could get one to charge all 4 batteries at the same time.
Because they're just like the batteries. Like if you have one of those battery operated lawnmowers or whatever, they're the exact same battery.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
They're not special.
Now,
Anything else?
the ones that we have in high school, we don't have extras for the gym, right? We would have to move them from the school.
We have
to-
5 total for the whole district. And so, yeah, we would just will them over there. Yes, ma'am.
But I'm sure maybe if later on we do get any more grant money or anything for security, I think just to keep those at the gym there, because I mean, after moving them so many times, you know, I mean, they could easily get.
Well, and if you have them for the gym, that's close enough. You could use those for the football.
Yeah,
You could just
yeah,
roll them back
for
and
sure.
forth. But please don't get in your head that Jasper said they're heavy. I've seen.
They're not.
They're not, especially when you take the battery
They
out.
are so.
Well, no, my
Hannah,
thing
are
is-
they heavy?
No, and I use them
Hey, I'm
4
justifying.
times a day.
But I'm justifying my wheels.
But I know what
okay,
you're
'cause I
saying. The
like
more
my
they
wheels.
move, the more they're
Well,
gonna.
yeah, we just keep them, yeah, you know what I mean.
Richie, be nice.
You
I
know,
like
we can
mine
carry all
Richie
of
because
them.
they
you know.
really know.
Carry
All
on.
of the time.
And Roach, if you'd like to talk too, I feel like the part I was most worried about is there's something about the word search that is not always a comfortable word for students and parents, but the way we've done it is it's very transparent, it's very visible, it's very hands off. Like if the kid goes through and they automatically are like, oh my gosh, I forgot I have this. Well, they pull it out, we just tell them to walk right back through. And your guys have been great about not making it personal, and we're just searching them and sending them home.
Yes, sir, we don't want to embarrass any of the kids. So, you know, that's what we want them to do, is being able to come to the SRO and say, hey, I'm sorry, I got this, and, you know, we're going to deal with them, we're going to visit with them. But if it's a serious incident, we'll also know what we can and cannot do. And, you know, we're not, like I'm saying, always not going to intimidate or try to embarrass a child, but, you know, if it's something that we need to take care of immediately, you know, we can, that's why we do
Yes,
have
sir.
us there. You have requested, like I told Ms. Jasper this morning, you know, I kind of missed one of my guys, and I was like, where's my guy at? And, yes, you know, that's where we're going to be there. And we need to be there, and, you know, the searches, you know, there's a fine line, you know, when with us getting involved, whenever we have administration and they go through and they're like, oh, automatically they want to turn stuff over. You know, there's some things that we can look at, but we'd rather, you know, you guys handle it first. Now, if it's a weapon, or automatically you see, you know, a drug or something, then yes, turn it over. But you know, that's basically what we're there for, what we're here for.
And the search is simple. Like if they have something, we open up their bag. You're looking for something big, you know.
Leave
We're
them out.
not like going through all their things, but usually it's their spiral. With the girls, we've noticed it's either like their eyelash curler thing, which we're grooming them not to bring those things to school, or their headphones that they're trying to hide to sneak in because we don't allow the Bluetooth headphones. But it's a simple thing. It's not something where it's invasive to where they would feel embarrassed or.
Yeah.
And the kids have been very, I was going to comment on that. I mean, I witnessed the middle school today, and it is things like that. And I hear administration saying, we're going to keep this in the office. You cannot bring this next. And it's been, yes, ma'am, my bad. I mean, I think that everyone understands the why. And so it has been I'm not going to lie, it's been a surprisingly pleasant rolling out of it so far. And for the parents in the room, I think it is important to know, and for the community to know, not anybody can search anybody. If the SRO is present, they search. If the SRO is not present, it's the principal. And if the principal's not there, it's the AP. And if none of them are there, we're not searching. We're not going to allow anyone other than SRO or admin to do a search, because that, to me, is important.
And I want to say too, like if I do take like the AirPods or something, it's not a punitive thing. Like I'm not, we have discipline for that, but at that point it doesn't become punitive because they're walking in the building.
Chief, you got anything you'd like to add to this? Or man, you guys deal with this stuff all the time.
No, I think y'all really done a good job. And it's not just a hard nose, every time break them down kind of thing, but it's, I think you use good judgment of what you're doing.
Yes, sir.
And it helps when we see them too.
Yeah, absolutely.
Your guys have been really good with that.
And I agree with, letting a select few search. You can control how it's being searched instead of just letting anybody and everybody do it.
Yes, sir.
So that'll help you in the long run if it
Dan?
Well, like I said, in the overarching theme of this, I think what's really helped the rollout of OpenGate is, Mr. Ritchie being very, very adamant about this being transparent. Putting out information as far as how searches are going to be conducted, what the purpose of this OpenGate system is for. That is just generate for the overall safety of not only for our kids but for our teachers and everything in the building. And I think that was very important in the rollout this as far as the transparency of it, and I think it helped on the overall rollout of everything.
Anybody else on those? Thank you, campuses, for sharing. Dan, I don't have anything.
That's all I've got. That's all we really needed to cover on this one. And
Yeah.
it's already been updated on our emergency operations plan. I put this meeting in there already.
Any questions, Rocha? Do you have anything? Albert, anything?
I have a question.
Yes, ma'am.
So like at the high school, I know that the main entrance in the morning is at the cafeteria, but then after that, is it being moved to the
Yes,
front?
Every morning.
Yes, ma'am.
Because we have like do not comes too.
Yeah.
like-
Yeah, we scan any kid all day
So
long.
like we keep it there all the way till like third period.
Okay.
Third period is typically when we have all of them.
Okay.
So if there's some that come during where they check it, when they go in, I know there are times that some may get dropped off in the front. Are they told they need to go around, or do they go in?
Those doors are locked.
So they do stay locked
They-
until,
and they go around, and then
Okay.
once we close and lock these doors, we move the metal detectors to the
oh, okay,
to the other doors.
all right.
Anything else? Does anybody else have anything? Ms. Gonzalez, do you have anything for the group? Anybody else? Guys, thank y'all for coming. How long was that meeting?
It was 27 minutes.
There you go.